Hey, roommates. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Come on in. Hey, y'all. Happy Wednesday. Come on in, y'all. Happy Wednesday. Super excited to be here. So many exciting things on the horizon. And yeah, let's just talk about it. Making sure I can see you guys' comments and see who's joining. All right, hey Brown Fox, always my number one girl tuning in. Hey Instagram, hey Facebook, I see you guys too. Come on in. Good evening. Good evening. And welcome to another episode of Rumor Has It. Okay. My shirt says, if blessed was a person, okay, it would be me. And it would be you as well, okay, roommates, because we have so many things to be blessed about. Rumor has it, right, that people, we will fret and fret about so many things that we just don't have control over. But I have said this to you all before, and I'll say it again. Get grounded in the things that you do have control over. Don't overburden yourself with what people are doing or what people are saying. Just stay rooted and grounded in your own stuff, and I promise you, you will start to feel the blessings that are bestowed upon you. And so I just want to make sure that you guys know that. It is so easy to just get caught up in just all of the things that's going on around us. The things that we believe are not working for us are actually working. And so you have to plant those seeds and watch them grow. Rumor has it, we had an exciting, roommates, we had an exciting weekend. I spent it at the Black Effect Podcast Festival down in Atlanta. And I had just a really rare and important opportunity to be in front of some really influential people and pitch our podcast and the idea of what it is that we're doing. And so we're going to continue to keep that in prayer and just be thankful for even opportunities. We have no control over the outcome, okay? But I remember I used to be so afraid to put myself out there just because of, years past rejections, things, opportunities not being granted. And I'm just learning more and more each day that we really have to stand on, walk by faith and not by sight, because we do not, okay? We do not have control over anything. We really just have to believe in those things that we are putting out in the universe. So if you don't get no claps, if you do not get any acknowledgments, if people are trying to minimize what it is you have going, just keep moving forward. Set goals for yourselves. The Bible tells us to write the vision and make it plain. So don't sit on your business ideas. Don't sit on things that are dreams for you, things that you want to really explore. Explore it and get out of your own head. We can be our biggest critics, but also become our biggest downfalls. Okay? Now, we are in this 4-part series doing National Second Chance Month. And tonight we wrap it up. We are on episode 4 or part 4 of this series for the month of April. And we're just going to do a full circle. We'll continue with some story time, but obviously you guys know that it wouldn't be like me to still bestow some teachings and some things like that on you. And so we're going to sit back, we're going to relax, we're going to engage, and we're going to ensure that we're just taking in some of these tidbits that are meant to just be of aid and assistance, okay? So let's jump on in. Today's episode is part 4 of this series, and it's the title is Getting Our Names Back. And you should see that in the caption on our live. And this is really going to be about a full circle moment, but hopefully there will be some sort of spiritual grounding in this. Doing this 4-part series, or the first 3 parts, we've gotten a lot of feedback. We've gotten people asking to explore more, right? To talk more about the different processes and proceedings. Now, I'm going to interject and say again, I am not an attorney. What I speak to is pure D experience, and so I'm not giving legal advice. I am just setting foundations and awareness around wrongful convictions, being granted second chances despite whether you've done jail time, whether you hit probation, whatever the situation may be. I just want you guys to really understand that closing this 4-part series out is just about closing that loop and giving us courage and encouragement to remain spiritually grounded. All right, we didn't get that out the way. So this part is where we're coming full circle. We're starting to talking, getting our name back. We're talking about just not getting stuck in the circumstances and continuing to tread forward and not allow those circumstances to keep you stuck. Yes, for sure, it can get you, it can have you in a funk because there's so many things that's going against you. Let me give us a Bible verse and then we will go from there. And so tonight's Bible verse is going to come to us from Isaiah 43, 18 through 19. And it says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing in you. But what do you do when the system won't let your past go?" And that's where we're rounding out and closing out today. Parts 1 through 3, you guys are going to have to go back and kind of catch yourselves up because it's too much and we will go over time. Let's jump in. So, everything is over with the conviction, right? The conviction has happened, the charge has happened, the conviction has happened, and the sentence has happened, right? Whether it was a plea deal, whether it was probation, whether it's you coming home on parole, it's the years, the decades, and all of that time spent in those circumstances that you're trying to figure out, what is it that I can do to get my name back on track? I have had multiple roommates to come forward and just really talk about the exhaustion. And I talk about it too. I've talked about it really during this series. Just the exhaustion of, let me see what I can do to reconcile and actually get my name back. So because what happens when we've already done everything that we can do, time served, completed probation, stayed away from the wrong people, rebuilt our lives, still we're fighting for what seems to be corrected, but you have to check yes on all of these applications that's asking you, have you ever been convicted of a felony? Whether you were wrongfully convicted or not, if you took a plea deal, I will reiterate that is you basically pleading out and accepting a plea deal for, and accepting also that, why am I drawing a blank? Accepting essentially your fate. So segment 1, I'm going to call 28 years later. So briefly, in parts 1, 2, and 3, we talked about the wrongful conviction against me. The date of arrest was back in like August of 1996, 97 or 98. The plea deal came. I prematurely and just unknowingly went into this not knowing how it would affect me. And we were talking last week, I let you guys know that I had been going back and forth to the county building trying to figure out what I can do. Now, this was in like 2014. 1996 is when everything happened, but 2014 or 2013 is when I started to really feel the effects of me accepting this plea deal. And I knew I had to do something about it. So kept going to the courthouse, kept going to the courthouse, had done some different paperwork and petitions to the court to see what I could do. I was not eligible. The conviction was not eligible for an expungement. And so even with roommates, even with sealings and expungements, there are certain level of jobs, certain level of research that's going to be done and attached to your fingerprints at the end when you're going through and after this process ends. So like if you're going for a state job, if you're going for the city job, those are considered governmental jobs. And there are certain things that they can still see even through expungement and stuff like that. All right. And so years of carrying something that didn't belong to you, and now you have to navigate in these systems to try your best. I mean, I was trying my best to fully restore my name, but it took so many years. And so even after our growth, even after the consistency, even after the wherewithal to remain grounded and not allow this to get you off course and to find yourself in some more trouble, it is all applied to your emotional, to your emotional and your psychological well-being, because you're constantly questioning yourself, like, or doubting yourself. I'm gonna say doubting, because it's like you get so many no's. It's so many lost opportunities. Some people are blessed. I was one of those people who got blessed, but it still needed to be more and more things that I had to do to clear my name. And so, yes, I was able to get jobs. Yes, I was able to go on and get into my career path and just really have some really good jobs. But I am constantly challenging myself. And so I'm trying to one up because I'm doing research. I know that there's more I want to do. And there's more too that you want to do. It broke my heart recently, probably around episode 2, when one of my roommates came and said, I just really be feeling like I want to give up. Because yes, I have a job, that's true. And I'm thankful for that job. However, this is not where I just want to land. Like I don't want to settle simply because I have this X on my back. And so we're now about to get into, after the growth, after you are consistently trying to evolve yourself, despite this being on your background, and even proving yourself while you're in these jobs over and over again, who you really are. Right? Hey guys, I see you. Who you really are is still so many things that stands in the way. All right. Last week I told you guys about this petition to the court that's called, it's a relief of disabilities petition. And it's essentially where the court is granting, if they grant it to you, it's saying, the courts is saying that, yes, whatever this person has done to, to where they have to check yes on an application. Yes, that is true, but we're really granting them at least a local level of protection, and we're supporting them in moving forward in their lives and in their careers. And so that's something that you guys should keep in your toolbox if you're not eligible outright for a expungement. I seen that one of our roommates ended up getting an expungement and some sealing this week, and so I'm super happy for that person, because that's what we're constantly fighting for. And so segment 2, we're going to talk about clemency. When does it pretty much set you free and free you of all of those things that is holding you bound? Okay. Now, when I consistently went up to the courthouse, not knowing what to do, not knowing who to talk to, I started to speak with the assistant state's attorney, who was willing to give me some guidance, not necessarily legal advice, but guidance, and say, you probably want to talk to Cabrini Green Legal Aid. Roommates, I want you guys to know that there are free legal help out here through the different legal aids across the city. Cabrini Green Legal Aid is one of them. I don't know all of them off the bat. I just know that one because that is the organization, it's a group of attorneys that do pro bono work essentially, or they will do it on a sliding scale based on your income if you have like income, right? And so sometimes it's completely free, sometimes it's not. It's really based on quite a few. You have to work your way. It's either going to be free or you're going to have to pay. It's going to be some small costs associated with it based on your income and after you're able to pay. Don't let any of that worry you. My first thing would say, reach out and see at least if you can start at that ground level of getting that free legal advice. All right? So I started that process and we were able to get my record sealed. It was the conviction was not expungible. Why? It was not expungible because it was a Class X. And so that's another thing you have to understand. There's different classes, and it just wasn't expungible. So I had to take the scenic route, right? I had to really navigate some things. We started off with actually getting a sealing, and I'm just going to fast forward a little bit. In that, I applied to work for the state of Illinois. When I went to apply for the state of Illinois, everything came back that I had a felony. And though I had this sealing, again, the police, governmental affairs, stuff like that, they're still able to see your stuff. So let me tell you guys the route that I eventually had to take. So clemency. Clemency is when you petition at the government level and you go and you essentially plead your case to say, hey, this is what it is. I haven't been in any trouble. I need your support and your seal of approval so that I can move forward and not be bound to this stuff. So for many people, you would think that those things will work in your favor, but I still had some stuff that was looming. 2014, I started working with Cabrini Green Legal Aid. Around 2016, 2017, we started the clemency process where we petitioned the court to say, okay, we want to move forward so that my name can be cleared up. We had to do all type of character letters. We had to do applications. We had to submit my history, but we had to give tangible things, the degrees, the employment, the different certifications, everything that I had done. I had to really put it together in a nice little folder, and that's not it. You also have to literally and physically go in front of a panel. It's called the Governor's Review Board, and so it is a panel of it's people from the governor's office. It's attorneys. I believe it was like 6 people that was on that panel. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was a hot mess when I had to go down to Springfield and actually sit in front of this review board because I didn't know what to expect. But the questions that I was getting from them and the resounding, just like affirmation that, even because you go and do all of this. You go and you do all of this, but they don't let you know right then and there. So everything has to be reviewed. So I sit in front of them, they're asking me. Think about when we're watching on CNN or breaking news when all of the constituents of the different cabinets in Washington are sitting at these big fancy tables with these mics in front of them. And then there's other spectators that's looking, that's kind of sitting in the seats that's lined up. That's how it was. And it was so nerve-wracking. I watched, and you can't watch other people as they're doing that because that's a private matter. But you see people come in and out, and the different reactions can really just startle you, just depending on what it looks like when someone is coming up out of there. I went, I did it, I felt good, so it was like, set it and forget it. Because I had no control, zero control over what was going to happen. All right, and so we ended up doing all of this, and we didn't hear nothing back for a while. And so my attorney, she called and, got in touch with some of her attorney friends just to really try to figure out. I see y'all waves. Hey, y'all. Just to try to really check in to see what's really going on. What is it that, what are the next steps? What could we hear? Well, we found out that the outgoing governor at the time had not really done any clemencies while he was sitting in the office as governor. Okay? The incoming governor had to make a choice. Is he going to hear all of the petitions that were put in before, or is he going to throw all of them out without prejudice, right? When they throw things out without prejudice, that means that we're throwing it out at this time for whatever reason, but we're not going to hold it against you like it was thrown out permanently. So he can make the choice to hear them all, or review them all, rather, the ones that was escalated to his desk. Okay? So he can make the decision on whether or not those that made it to his desk pre him, if he would review them all and make a decision on them, or if he would dismiss them all without prejudice and everybody will have to reapply. Well, he made the latter decision, which was to allow the hearings to move forward and to take the recommendations from the court and to review them all and either approve or deny the ones that do make it to his desk. Because they're not going to send all of the ones to the desk because some of them are not even eligible. It's real steep like requirements and criteria for the things to make it to his desk. All right? So he made the decision to hear or review the cases and make a decision. So his decision would be a final decision. Now I don't know if it's a denial. I'm sure you can probably approve it, but that was the least of my worries. I just needed it to get on the tape. All right? And so, guys, when I tell you that it was a whirlwind of things that was occurring in my life, in my mind, on jobs that I was going after, it just was really a lot. And so I really didn't have time to really stew in it. Let me tell you guys something. It was the day before Thanksgiving. I'll never forget. I was in my house prepping, like we all do be prepping for the holiday. And I was prepping, and I answered the phone from my attorney, and I didn't know what she was gonna say, but I seen her name on there, and I was like, hey, happy Thanksgiving, and she says to me, well, are you ready for it to be an even happier Thanksgiving? I'm like, yes, but no fucking way. Before she could even get it out, I'm like, I know you ain't about to say what you're about to say. Y'all, she told me that I had been granted the governor's pardon from the governor of the state of Illinois. Okay? And so that was one of the happiest days of my life. I know. Thank y'all. One of the happiest days of my life because but I gotta tell you, because it was even more attached to that. So I ended up getting the governor's part, but there still was, let's talk about it, the hidden layer in injustice, all right? And so when I talk about the hidden layers, this is the part that people don't see. And this is the part that is kind of what I would call, it seems like just quiet extensions of punishment is what I'm going to call it. Because a lot of times you get hyped up and you get super excited about these processes, roommates, and things get denied, things are not seen all the way through, or there's still stipulations that can place your life on hold. Not necessarily real hold, because I'm steady trucking along, head down, trucking along, but at the end of the day, there was still so many things that was coming up against me and all those systems. Number one, I had already been told a bunch of no's as it relates to this, the conviction. But number two, it's just an extended, quiet, stormy path that literally is really spent alone. Unless you got an attorney or someone who has completely been through this, it's really an alone battle. And so in this moment, I just want to tell any of you guys that are fighting to reclaim your names, don't get bogged down by the process. Don't get bogged down by the length of time. Just do what you can, pray to God, and keep it moving. Because it is very time consuming. It's going to take a lot of patience, roommates. And I want you guys to get that and to understand that, because it is not a simple one and done. For those people who are able to do something in one process and get it done as it relates to like the legal system and stuff like that, like I'm super excited for you, because that is not what happens for a lot of people. Hey, Nidra, love you. Thank you for the support. Hey, Faye. And so in that hidden layer of injustice, guys, these are the ways the systems continue to hold your past against you, right? Even after it legally says that it won't. And that's what creates that deeper question and that deeper frustration and confusion. And you saying to yourself, am I really free from this? And the real answer is no. The real answer is no. And so when I say 28 years, at the end of this, in a few minutes, you guys will clearly understand what I mean when I say it took 28 years. It may not take you that long, but I'm telling you, it can take you that long. And the Bible lets us know, do not be dismayed, for God is working on our behalf. So I ain't missed no meals. I was unemployed one small stint of time for like a 9-month period, right before I got the clemency. And I took that 9-month period and I studied for a state exam that allowed me to become licensed and allowed me to have the credentials to be a private therapist. So this was something I needed to study for, prepare for, and take this exam. And so in that waiting period of the one small 9-month period that I was unemployed, over a 30-year period, I still got a lot of things accomplished. And then I got the opportunity to grieve my grandmother, because I had never really properly grieved her. So it was a lot of things that felt like it was working against me, but it was so many things that was working for me. And that 9-month period of me being unemployed, it had nothing to do with my background, because the company had already hired me. So they didn't let me go for that. It was other circumstances, okay? So we really get to start to question ourselves and our sanity, and you know, are we really free? When will the actual paperwork change things for me, or will the system finally treat me like I'm supposed to be treated, and not like a criminal? All right. Nobody wants to be treated like a criminal, whether you're wrongly convicted or whether you have gone and did your time and really have rehabilitated. Rehabilitation is the name of the game when you're in the carceral system. But if you ain't done nothing wrong, it ain't nothing to rehabilitate from. And so I don't want anybody to think I'm sending mixed messages, because I'm kind of interchangeably talking about those who are wrongfully convicted and those who may have done their time for whatever they were charged for, and they have been rehabilitated and they're really trying to do this re-entry into society. So it's 6-7, okay, in the kid's voice, but it's still 2 peas in 1 pod. And so let's talk 12 more years of fighting. So 2014 was when the governor's pardon was granted, y'all. And I got this beautiful letter with the governor's seal on it. I mean, just wonderful. Okay, I don't want to minimize that. And so life was looking good. Life was looking up. I still would run into certain things because I started to work in like governmental affairs and stuff like that. But it was never held against me. Once I can show my paperwork, it was cool. And that's the other thing with systems, right? Once you get in there, it's like, when am I ever going to get out of this? When am I gonna be able to just this can completely be a no? But I'll tell you guys this, as it relates to a governor's pardon, once you get that, you're literally able to check no. So you go from being able to have to check yes to, if you've ever been convicted, to now you can officially on record check no. So that is a good thing. So it doesn't count against you. So it's not like you're lying or anything like that, because that is what clemency is all about. Thank you, Nidra. So let me, some of this I'm remembering off the top of my head, y'all. So just work with me, because I don't, when things are matter of fact and I've fought through those things, those are the things that I really want to be transparent with, off the mind and off the heart, so that you really can feel kind of like those raw emotions. So segment 4, we're going to call it More Years of Fighting. So between 2014 and 2024, my bad, is when I finally was able to kind of break them chains all together. So even after the clemency or after the expungement, roommates, I want to remind you, keep pushing, keep advocating, and keep being just really assertive about what it is that you want to do, because persistence is going to get you in more doors and more spaces than any other situation. Consistency is key, and persistence will let a person know that you're serious about what it is that you're setting out for. I didn't care what anyone was saying. I consistently and persistently push forward. And with that, that shows your endurance. That shows your resilience. That shows that you are willing to stand in the gap for yourself. And people really will learn to have a really profound respect for you despite your circumstances. Most people will judge you, especially in, those settings where it's they have to approve you for something, but yet you have this X on your back. All right. So there's so many things that if it wasn't for resilience, roommate, it would have stopped you a long time ago. So that's why you got to keep the pace, keep the faith, and continue to move forward no matter what. And so though I've been granted this pardon, I'm still struggling, guys. I was still struggling in some areas. So in let me see, it had to be about 2019-ish. It was like probably 2019. So about 4 or 5 years later, we got so much crime here in the city, so much going on that, I woke up one day and I was like, you know what, I need to be able to protect me and my family, and so I'm going to apply for a FOID card. And I do so, and I'm thinking it's going to be easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl, okay? I always have all my stuff in order, and I'm always able to just, give whatever is being requested, I got it to give, right? Because I have this just Rolodex of paperwork over the years of the things that I've done to try to get this stuff to go away. So anything somebody is asking me for, any paperwork, any petitions, any, anything, I'm able to keep, just thumb through it and get it. That's another thing, roommates. Keep up with your stuff. Anything you get from the courts, even if you keep an electronic copy, create a file for yourself so that anytime someone is requesting it from you, you are able to put your fingers right on it and you're able to send it and not have to be requesting stuff from the state, requesting stuff from the police department. Get your stuff and have it already and start to create yourself a folder of such, okay? And the way of reclaiming the name, right? When you are working, roommates, to get your name back, it's going to be a certain amount of things that you are going to have to do. You are going to have in order. So I will deviate really quickly from the FOIA card and then I'm going to come back to it. In these processes, when you are being denied, and that's why that statement, delayed but not denied, is so profound to me, because no matter how many no's I've received, those no's eventually turns into a yes, and sometimes a bigger and better opportunity than what I was seeking myself. And so just know that God is a redeemer. You all will be restored times 2 or more for the trouble. You will get double for your trouble. That's real. You have to just continue to be persistent. So for me, reclaiming my name, it wasn't about a card, right? I just said the FOIA card. It wasn't about the licenses. It was literally about my name. One thing my grandmother used to say when I was younger, and really, it's only 2 things that you got in this life: your name and your word. And my name just had been just drugged through the dirt, okay? Figuratively and literally. And I was over it. And so for me, going after clearing my name was like, I have to make this become a full circle moment. Just like this has been an effect on me for so many years, it's time now that effect changes around for the better good for me. All right? And so there are quite a few things that I ended up doing, right? So it was more so about my name and also about my identity, because this had become a second identity for me. Here I am, this person that is well educated, work a really good job, seem to have it all together, right? That's true. But something can be both and, right? Something can be what I just said to be true, but right, you have these other things that are working, or I have these other things that are working against me. So, I'm always going to do a plug when I want to give you guys some sort of inspiration. Both and exist, right? You can be both things that are happening. You can be successful. You can be a person that is pouring into other people. You can be a person that have been resilient and consistently growing. But you could also be a person who have drawn weary. You could be a person that's sick and tired of being sick and tired. You could be a person that is emotionally and psychologically fatigued because you're working so hard to try to climb up out of this just crate of crabs, just things. And I'm not talking about people, just things pulling at you to pull you back down and to continue to chop away at your esteem. All right? And so things really can be both. And that's what we really have to understand, that you can be joyful, but at the same time, you can have moments of despair. That's what being a human is. We are going to experience so many things. So don't let one thing define you. I want to keep you guys in that mindset. So, My identity, I was coming after it. My name, I was coming after it. So in order for me to exist without this being tied to my name, I needed to do further digging and even do more petitions. So I told you guys that I applied for the FOIA card, right? And now this is after the clemency. It's over. The clemency been over for years. When I applied for the FOIA card, I'm thinking, okay, one and done. Yeah, I get the notification of a denial of the application due to there's a clause. Now I had read that, and that thing had been read 1,000 times and put on the shelf, and I never thought that I read it, but it didn't register. Okay, I think I was just so excited when I got it, but in there was a clause, and it was like a clause towards the end that it said that I couldn't purchase, possess, own, manufacture a firearm. It was a clause in the part on the paperwork, and so when I get that, now we up to about 2019, 2020. So when I get that, I'm like, some more bullshit. Like now I'm really frustrated because I'm just not believing what's happening. It's like you take 10 steps forward, but then you got to take 22 steps back and damn near fall off the cliff. So it was really getting tiresome. Okay, and so I see where one of my Instagram friends are saying, so you know, what do? You have to fight that fight as long as you need to. And the fight is not always about the legal aspects of things. It's just not. It's going to be personal. It's going to be quite emotional. And it's going to end up turning into a spiritual journey for you. When I tell you that the person that contacted me last week, who just was really kind of upset about the process, the best advice that I could give was, 1, don't give up. 2, continue to apply pressure and do what it is that you need to do. And 3, you may want to consider doing changing career paths and doing something where it's not really held against you so much. Because remember, when we talk about this world of rehabilitation, this world of getting our names back, this world of clemency and all of this stuff, these are people that are fighting for their lives. These are people who are really trying to figure it out and not have these things to count against us. And somebody has to do the work. And who's best to do the work than somebody who really kind of understands you and can help you navigate. Now, I'm not suggesting that one has to have been wrongfully accused, but imagine if you have gone through something similar and you yourself has fought this fight, then now you're able to give better guidance to someone, and you become that much more vested in someone's freedom and survival in those things that are really destroying them, okay? And so, yes, it is very personal and spiritual and all of that. So, what happens and what does restoration really look like? First, I'll redefine restoration. And I'm not defining the word restoration. I'm actually going to give it to you in other terms. Restoration is not instant. It's not always clear. It's not always clean. It doesn't come when you think it should. But when it comes, restoration, true restoration, is undeniable. It isn't just about what has been taken. It becomes your purpose when you are fighting back against a system that is or has held you bound. And so that's why when I sit here with you guys, I'm constantly willing to give testimony, simply because a lot of times we don't know what restoration and redemption look like. And a lot of times we don't think that we're eligible. And when I say eligible, I'm not talking about eligible from somebody saying yay or nay on here on earth, but sometimes we are even questioning God on what he may be doing behind the scenes. When we reshape and set the mindset to be that of this is happening for me, I am guilty, guys, of questioning, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? But then when I started to shift it and see how every time I was going after something and eventually getting it, I'm like, you know what? There's lessons in this that I had to get. And I wouldn't have gotten them if those circumstances wouldn't have happened for me. Reshaping the mindset will give you that newfound vision and view of something and perspective of something that the enemy wants to hold you bound and hold you to those things that don't belong to you. All right? And so those 28 years of separation is deeper than what's at the surface. It's more about your willpower than it is about the process. All of us have seen that reel where it's like if someone from heaven was talking to you or you talking to yourself and it's like, come on, get on up, it's gonna be all right. Come on, y'all, get on up, it's gonna be all right. Roommates, always find a way to cheer yourself on in your darkest moments. That will help you more than you think. Just like we can pour and bestow positive thoughts, positive energy on others, we have to be that kind and that gracious to ourselves. Because otherwise, we will find ourselves just really questioning everything that is going on around us. So I want you all to keep that at the forefront at all times, because it is so easy to want to give up. That's the easy part. To be like, man, I'm done with this. I can't do it no more. I'm not going to expound any more energy. I'm not going to expound any more resources. Listen, I was finding myself in situations where I was like, okay, I'm done. But I just couldn't let me down. I couldn't let me down. All right, my good sister, Nidra Crosby is saying restoration and redemption is not returning to the way it was either. It's you being made stronger, an updated version of who you really are. Nidra, I couldn't have said that any better. And then Nidra also go on to say that I've used my time wisely. I really, honestly, hey, Shy to Neil, welcome for the first time. I appreciate you. I couldn't give up on myself. One, I wasn't guilty of the charge. Two, and I still actually got some more fighting to do, but I needed to first clear my name. Because I have some stuff that I need to do, right? That guilt and that shame that's associated with convictions is real. Many people who know me are floored right now understanding this process that I've gone through and the length of time. And yes, it wasn't pretty, and yes, it wasn't easy, and yes, it was a lot of years from my life. But I gotta be honest, I don't feel like I lost years because I was still able to be productive and, to Nidra's point, use my time wisely. So though it took 28 years for me to reclaim everything completely, that was really something deeper within me that was yelling and screaming and grasping for real freedom. That freedom that only God could give you, because everything else was seeming so dim and seeming like, it's a no before it becomes a yes. But I will say this, even though I got some no's, when I got the yeses, they were bigger than the no's. And so redemption is real. We talked about like redeeming a coupon last week. That's what it feels like. You done came up there, you got a coupon for 50% off, baby. You done redeemed 50% of your life back, okay? And so that is what it looks like. So guys, it requires faith, right? Faith when the doors stay closed. Faith when the answer is still no. Faith when it feels like progress doesn't match your effort. That's a big one. When you are trying and trying and trying your hardest, and your effort is not being, the outcomes and the progress is not matching your effort. And that's those feelings of giving up. That's when that type of stuff's setting in. All right. And so that's why the promise of God hits different. And it tells us in Joel 2:25, I will restore you the years that the locust has eaten. Not just give you something new, but restore everything that you have lost. The only promises you are going to receive is the promises from God. You know, people let us down, situations let us down, systems let us down. That's why I'm a true advocate. I tell you guys all the time, I didn't choose social work chose me. I say that because social work took me in when the first career choice that I ever made told me no. So there was rejection at the door. Oh, you're not welcome over here. But social work took me in. Social work allowed me to be an advocate for others who could not advocate for themselves. Social work, I'm not going to say some of the places and the systems that I've worked for, but social work as it's set up and designed to be like our girl Ada B. Wells intended it to be, is to stand on what's right and to fight for what's right. And my purpose on this earth was defined a long time ago. See, coming forth and sitting here on this platform with you guys is just the icing on the cake. And it's just what God put me, assigned me to do. And I tried to fight against it. He like, oh, no. The people, they need you. Right? And I don't say that or take that lightly. My roommates, you guys constantly remind me why I should be here when I try to find ways not to be here. You guys be standing y'all ground. My fave, every week, if I don't been to put something up, letting y'all know what the topic is or something, she's sending me the eye emoji. Where you at? What you doing? We waiting on you. We ain't seen none. Where's the invite? And I appreciate that. Because I remember I had to tell a guest that was questioning my numbers, right? The analytics. I had to tell them, listen, I respect your stance. I don't have no choice but to. But I'm not defined by the number of views I get. Now we've done over 1 million views in these 18 months we've been together. Well over that. Across platforms. Oh, we done that. But people be looking at numbers. And I told that person, I said, listen, if I reach 1, that's more than enough. I think I shook him to his core with that, y'all, because he came back and was like, now is not the best time, but, I'll get with you. I think that's the only true rejection I've gotten on Rumor Has It. And so it is what it is. I ain't tripping, okay? I'm thankful. I'm thankful because this, some people give up. Some people are motivated by views and numbers and likes and stuff like that. I'm not motivated by those things because I know who I am and I know how it is I know how this helped people. And so I'm just, it's thankful, okay? I know you be looking for me, Fave. I already know. All right, and so let's get to the drum roll, right? We headed to closing segment in a couple of minutes. So here's the moment. I got my name back, y'all. And not because the system decided to be fair, not because we refuse or I refuse to stop showing up for myself, but because I kept pushing, I kept believing. I kept standing in my truth, even when that truth wasn't being recognized. Okay, so went for the FOID, 2019, got denied. So I'm bummed out. It ain't the first time. I keep on moving. Okay, at this same juncture, I'm getting ready to start working for the state. I'm doing all right, and I'm just glad now I can finally check no on these applications. So again, set it and forget it, right? It went on over there. I'm like, honey, whatever. I got to keep moving. I went to, I was mad in my business, okay? I was mad in my business. In 2022, 2023, my attorney calls me again. And she says, Tamika, the laws have changed. The laws have changed. And that's another thing, roommates. Y'all got to keep up these laws. Now, I ain't going to sit up in line and say I was keeping up with them, but I got an attorney, so she was keeping up with it for me. So she hit me up. She said, Tamika, the laws have changed. She said, now, if you, remember I talked to y'all last week about qualifying convictions and stuff like that, where they move forward in the governor's office and stuff. I don't know who did what, so I just say the governor's office. So they moved forward and said that, you know, if it was not a violent crime, no one was hurt, and you got clemency or an expungement, if you're eligible for that, you're eligible to hold a FOID card. Okay? And so I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? And so she's like, yeah, so I'm going to move forward and I'm going to file an appeal for the denial and let's see what happens. Y'all, we filed for the appeal. We never heard anything else. She did the paperwork, filed for the appeal, sent everything off. We didn't hear anything. In late 2023, y'all, I'm checking my mailbox regularly. We done this like 2022, early 2023. So it's definitely at least a year later since we didn't appeal this decision. But we didn't hear nothing. I go and I open my mailbox, y'all. Guess what? The FOID card was in there. Okay? So again, a delayed but not denied process. So the FOID card is in my box. And I'm getting ready to call my attorney. Well, I call my attorney and she answers the phone and she says, oh, I was getting ready to call you. I say, oh, well, I'll let you go first because obviously you may have some news. She's like, yeah, I just got a list of my clients that we did appeals for, and you guys, you have been approved to get your FOID. I said, girl, I just got the card out the mail. She said, get out of here. I said, yes. So y'all, I got the card, okay? So I got the right to bear arms, okay? So cool. Now I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and do this full circle thing. So now I done got everything cleared. We 27 years in now, y'all. So this was my last test to see if this stuff was really working for me. I went and I took, because I hit the FOID card, I was able to go ahead and do the CCL course, right? But here's the thing about that. You can have the FOID card, you can take the course, but you still have to, guess what? Apply for the license, for the CCL license. So here I go again, used to filling out applications and getting denied the first time around. Roommates, I went and I took the class. It was over the weekend. I had to take it for a couple of days. Those of you who have your CCLs, you know what I'm talking about. So I had to do a full weekend from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or something. It was full days, like 8-hour days. So I went, I take that, then the last day we had to go to the gun range and all of that stuff. So I done everything I needed to do. Now though, here I go. I gotta apply for something again. Of course, I'm expecting that when I apply, I'm gonna be told no, and here's something else, I'm gonna have to appeal. Well, Lo and behold, June 18th, 2024, I opened up my mailbox, y'all, and this was my grandmother's birthday. This is my grandmother's birthday, and I said, yeah, she watching over me. I opened up the mailbox, y'all, and for the first time in my life since I was 18 years old, something that was so near and dear to me that I was fighting for and wanting my rights to be restored. For the first time, it wasn't a no, then a yes. I opened up that mailbox on my grandmother's birthday, 2024, and there it was, my CCL license, the very first time around I applied. And so I have given you guys a glimpse into my world of fighting for redemption for myself. And it took years, and it took me leaning on the promises of God. It took me understanding that I am not my circumstances. I slowly but surely stopped feeling less and less guilt and shame associated with it, because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to consume your mind. He wants to consume your mind to have you believe that you're not worthy of anything. Instagram, I see your comments. And so he wants you, Brown Fox, I'm about to answer your question in a moment. He wants you to really forget about the promises of God. The enemy does. And so I'm here to tell you that if blessed was a person, you're looking at her. All right? And so Brown Fox is asking, do you think that part of the guilt from the enemy planting negative thoughts about your situation in your head? Yeah. Because what happens is that you're being reminded that I'm not good enough. And that's where the shame comes in at. The guilt, I don't know, for me that I felt guilty. I never felt guilty because I didn't do anything. For me, it was always more shame. But I understand the guilt part, especially for people who may have committed whatever, crime or whatever they may have committed. And then the stigma attached and the guilt associated with it. I felt more shame than guilt. And so that's a great question. And yeah, it's the enemy constantly coming up against you, telling you, you ain't worthy, you ain't good at it, now, what your God gonna do now? All right, and my God always shows up. So, roommates, I'm at closing segment. I want you guys to understand you need to keep standing in your truth, even when your truth is not recognized. Because what that shows is it shows power. It builds legacy for you fighting for your name. And it also shows what real second chances look like, even if you have to go after them yourselves. Roommates, I could have sat on my hands and sat back and just been content in the one job that I had that already I was able to break through a door. But I never ever settled, right? I always knew that this circumstance was bigger than me. And what I mean by that is that our stories don't stop with the circumstances. We are still people who, though we may be stuck in between, we're living with those decisions and under pressure that sometimes it feels like restoration is not going to happen for us. And so waiting for restoration, yes, I've said this 1,000 times and I'll say it 1,000 more. Waiting for restoration really does feel like you are going to be denied, and it definitely is delay. Everything is not an instant gratification situation, and I need for you guys to really understand that. And so you are proof, I am proof, that anything is possible. It won't be easy. It's not quick. But I do want to remind you that it is possible. I'm going to give you a couple of reflection questions, and then I'm going to give us a powerful full circle closing statement. So what does getting your name back mean to you if you've lost it into some sort of system? And a system can be the incarceral system, the justice system, systems that may be dealing with your children. People have lost their children. Systems that you may, you're dealing with because of substance use or mental health issues that may cause problems for you. What is it, something that you're trying to get your name back from? Where in your life are you still fighting to be fully seen? For me, it was all of these things. And I didn't recognize it until it was over, where the clearance really kind of set into effect. Have you given up on something that might require a longer fight? If you have, find you some support. Find you some resources so that you don't have to do it alone. All right? Remember the legal aid. That's free or very low cost. And those people are basically social change agents. They're doing things with their degrees and with their expertise to help you fight your way up out of situations. And the last reflection question is, how can your story become a pathway for someone else? Roommates, don't be ashamed of your past. Your testimony is literally somebody else's breakthrough. People used to always tell me, people still tell me, you need to write a book. Faye just told me that. You need to write a book. Girl, your life is a movie. And I'm like, I don't know about all that, but it has been something else, okay? And so understand that your story can be somebody else's breakthrough. All right, so we're going to end this the right way. Because this isn't just about survival anymore, roommates. This is truly about restoration. The Bible reminds us in Proverbs 22:1 that a good name is more desirable than great riches. Oh my God. And for 28 years, that's what I have been fighting for. Not money, not recognition, but simply my name. And now that I have that back and you're fighting to get yours back, if that's the truth, no system will ever get to redefine that for us. So I'm here to encourage you to continue to fight for your name. So with this Second Chance Month, and what it really is about is not just giving people another opportunity, but acknowledging the time it takes, the fight it requires, the strength that it builds, okay? And the truth is, some of us don't just deserve a second chance, right? The second chance was taking a plea deal and not going to jail. Many people thought I should stop there. But it's not just about the second chance, roommates. The truth is that we really deserve our names back. Roommates, I'm done. Okay? You guys have given me the strength and the wherewithal to stick this thing out when I wanted to just run and flee. I didn't want to sit here and tell this story. But what better way to convey a message than to use yourself as the sacrificial lamb, to show people that it's not about what or who, it's really about the win. Continue to fight for yourself. Continue to advocate for yourselves. Continue to go out on a limb and be loud and boisterous about your innocence or your name, and working with all your might to get your name back. Roommates, we are on to the next. This 4-part series have blessed many of you guys, and it has blessed my soul telling it. I am thankful for your support. I am thankful for your constant iteration of and confirmation that I should be doing just this. Okay? I'm thankful to God, and I'm also thankful to you guys. Have a wonderful, blessed night. Good night.